In this video, we want to look at two methods on the array. Two array methods. We have the shift and unshift. So this look like they're opposite each other, right? So we have the shift. Shift removes the first element from an array and returns that element. So we saw in one of the videos that we can remove the last element using pop. So the pop method is used to remove the last element. So if I want to remove the first element, I can use the shift. Alright, so let's go back to our code. So we delete this. I think I need a console, so we delete from here. So if we have countries like this, so we can call .shift. I'll print this again. So let's see what happens. Let me clear this. Okay, so we can see that the first element, which was Nigeria, was removed, and then we have Ghana as a new first element in this array. So that's what shift does. So shift removes the first element in the array. So if I'm working on an array, depending on what I'm trying to do, I may want to remove the first element. So to be able to achieve that, I can use the shift method. So far, already we can see that we can use two methods to remove the first element. We introduce the splice method, which can remove an element at any index or any position in the array. So that can be used as well. So the difference between shift and splice is splice takes some argument or some parameters. So if I want to use a splice, I will have to provide something like this. So since I want to remove the first element, I will have to provide a position of 0 because the first element always starts at 0. Then I'll also provide the number of elements I want to remove. So in this case, 1. So let's see how we can achieve the same thing with splice. And if I print, you can see that we have the same result. So I can either use splice or shift, but if I want to remove the first element, then I'll prefer to go with with shift because it's easier. I don't want to I don't have to bother myself with parameters, right? So I can just use shift. Then the next array method is unshift. So unshift adds one or more elements to the beginning of an array and returns the new length of the array. And then one thing I forgot to mention with this shift is that it always returns the element that was deleted. So I can do something like this. So if I want to know the element that was deleted, or I want to maybe get it and store it in a variable, I can do something like deleted is equal to this, and I can come here and print the deleted element. So if I run this, you can see that Nigeria was deleted. So the shift method always returns the element that was deleted. So let's look at the unshift method. So the unshift method adds one or more elements to the array and returns the length of the new array. So if I call unshift on countries, let's say I want to add, and it always add it to the first. So all the elements, the new elements that are added will be added to the first index. So at index 0. So let's say I want to add South Africa like this. So if I run this, let me run this again. Sorry, on shift, not shift. So shift removes. So on shift, I want to add to the first element, and we have South Africa added here. So this is how we can add to the first element in the array. And we can also add one or more elements. So in the first one, we were able to add just South Africa. Let's see how we can add South Africa and Kenya. So we have added 2 at index 0. So South Africa will take the index 0, and Kenya will take index 1, Nigeria will take index 2, like that. Okay, so that's it. So even with the on shift, we can achieve this same thing using splice. So if I want to achieve this with splice, I can do this splice, and I'll give a position of 0, and how many do I want to operate on? 0, because in this case I don't want to replace, so I'll provide 0, and you can see we have the same result. So, but again, I don't want to be providing too many parameters, so I will always prefer to go with on shift like this. Right, so good. So this is it. This is how we can use the shift and on shift array method. Just to recap, the shift method is used to remove the first element in an array, while the on shift is used to add one or more elements to the first index in the array. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.